What is the tallest wave you've ever seen? 5 meters? 10? Maybe 20? Now imagine a wave taller than a skyscraper. Not 50 meters, not 100, not 200. What if a wall of water over 500 meters high suddenly appeared in front of you? Would you even have time to understand what you're looking at? Most people think tsunamis come from the ocean, but the largest wave ever recorded on Earth didn't start there. And what caused it might be even more terrifying than the wave itself. Because one day, an entire mountainside fell into the sea, and what happened next changed history forever. When most people hear the word tsunami, they imagine a giant wave. But that's not really what a tsunami is. A normal ocean wave is created by wind. A tsunami is different. A tsunami begins when something moves an enormous amount of water all at once. Usually an earthquake beneath the ocean. Imagine lifting part of the ocean floor, just a few meters, across hundreds of kilometers. How much water would move? Millions of tons, billions. The entire ocean above it is suddenly displaced. And that energy has to go somewhere. At first, the wave may be almost invisible. Out in deep water, a tsunami can travel at over 800 kilometers per hour, as fast as a passenger jet. Yet ships far away might not even notice it passing beneath them. So why does it become deadly? Because when the wave reaches shallow water, all that energy is compressed. The wave slows down, but it also rises, higher and higher, and sometimes much higher than anyone expects. But even the deadliest ocean tsunamis are not the biggest waves Earth has ever seen, because somewhere in Alaska, something even worse happened. July 9th, 1958, Lituya Bay, Alaska. A place so remote that most people had never heard of it. Surrounded by steep mountains, silent forests, and icy water, it looked peaceful. But beneath the surface, something was building. Then suddenly, the ground began to shake. A powerful earthquake struck the region. Not a small one, not a warning, a massive earthquake. And as the mountains trembled, an entire section of rock broke free. Imagine standing at the foot of a mountain and watching part of it collapse. Not a few stones, not a cliff, an entire mountainside. More than 30 million cubic meters of rock and ice. Enough material to fill thousands of Olympic swimming pools. Now ask yourself, where does all that mass go? Straight into the water. The impact was so violent that it exploded into the bay like a giant hammer striking the ocean. Water shot upward, higher and higher. Trees snapped. The shoreline disappeared beneath foam and spray. For a few seconds, nature unleashed a force almost impossible to imagine. And the wave that followed would become the largest ever recorded on Earth. But nobody knew that yet, because at that moment, all anyone could see was a mountain falling into the sea. The mountain hit the water, and then the impossible happened. The ocean didn't just splash, it exploded upward, higher, higher, and higher. Imagine standing beside a 10-meter wave. Terrifying. Now imagine 50 meters, a wall of water taller than most buildings. Now 100 meters, higher than the Statue of Liberty. Still not enough. The wave in Lituya Bay reached 524 meters. Let that sink in. 524 meters, higher than the Empire State Building, higher than almost every skyscraper on Earth. Imagine looking up and seeing a moving mountain made entirely of water. Could your brain even understand what you're seeing? Scientists later found evidence on the surrounding mountains. The wave had stripped away trees, not near the shoreline, not a little above it, all the way up to 524 meters above sea level. Entire forests vanished. Millions of trees ripped from the earth as if they were blades of grass. And the most terrifying part? The wave wasn't moving toward a city. It wasn't attacking a coastline. It was trapped inside a narrow bay. If something like this happened near a populated area, how many people would survive? But the story gets even stranger. Because despite facing the largest wave ever recorded, someone was still alive to tell the story. It sounds impossible. A wave over 500 meters high. So here's the question. Did anyone actually see it? The answer is yes. On that day, several fishing boats were inside Lituya Bay. Imagine sitting on a small boat. The water is calm, the mountains are silent. Then the earth begins to shake beneath you. You look toward the cliffs, and suddenly, an entire mountainside collapses into the sea. What would you do? Run? Hide? There was nowhere to go. One fisherman later described seeing the water rise, higher and higher, until it looked like the entire bay was standing up. Then the waves started moving. Not like a normal ocean wave, more like a moving mountain. A wall of water carrying trees, rocks, and debris. One boat was destroyed, another was thrown like a toy. And somehow, one man survived by riding the wave. Think about that for a moment. A wave taller than most skyscrapers, and a small fishing boat floating on top of it. How is that even possible? But the strangest part is, the wave wasn't finished yet, because after destroying everything in its path, it left behind evidence that shocked scientists. Evidence they could still see years later. Years later, scientists returned to Lituya Bay, and what they found was impossible to ignore. The mountainsides were scarred, not by fire, not by erosion, but by a single wave. A line stretched across the mountain, marking the highest point the water had reached. 524 meters. The evidence was still there, visible from the air, visible from space. A permanent reminder of what happened that day. And that raises a disturbing question. If nature can create a wave this large in a remote Alaskan bay, could it happen again? The answer is yes. Not necessarily in Lituya Bay, but anywhere a massive landslide crashes into a confined body of water. A fjord, a lake, a volcanic island, a mountain slope above the sea. Most tsunamis are terrifying, but megatsunamis are different. They're rare, unpredictable, and almost impossible to stop. The largest wave ever recorded wasn't created by a storm. It wasn't created by the wind. It wasn't even created by the ocean. It was created by a mountain falling into the sea. And for a few terrifying moments, Earth produced a wave taller than a skyscraper, a wave that should never have existed, yet it did. So if you ever think nature has limits, remember Lituya Bay,